Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I'd like to welcome all of you and take this opportunity to introduce Madhukantha. His legal name is Dr. Manish Hirsch. He is an MD by qualification, and he is working as a vice president in one of the pharmaceutical research company. And he has been practicing his spiritual life, devotional life for last almost 2.5 decades. So professionally very qualified and spiritually very learned. Very well qualified to help us understand basic concepts of spiritual life. Also, how we can connect both things, professional life and spiritual life. And that is where we are. Because we want to see what is relevance of something which was spoken, something which was written 5,000 years back. And we have here Madhukantha Prabhu to help us with that. Thank you, Madhukantha Prabhu, for sharing your wisdom.
Thank you so much, Shiva. So in today's session, the topic is key to success. So based upon the principles of Bhagavad Gita, in next 40 minutes, we will try to understand few basic aspects of Bhagavad Gita and how it is related to our day-to-day life in terms of how we define our success. So before we start our discourse, our discussion, we will just offer some prayer to our Guru Parantara. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnana Jalachalakaya Chakshurtamyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamaya Padati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Vitaparakam Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagadam Sahaganam Sahaganam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganam Shri Shakam Kusha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Shri Mati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namale Namaste Saraswati Devi Prabhupada Kacharya Nirvishesha Shunyavad Paschati Chitara Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Priyadvaita Gadadhar Shivasana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So by the blessings of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, we were fortunate enough to understand with our limited capacity of our brains to understand the deep science of Bhagavad Gita to an extent, and with His blessings we are still trying to explain what we have understood within our capacity. So we don't know how much we will be able to explain you, but we will try to explain what we have understood. So I would encourage everybody to be more participative. So when we talk to people in general, like when we do preaching, when we try to start some discussions around Bhagavad Gita. So very unfortunate thing which we observe, like unfortunately Bhagavad Gita is the only book in India with which we do all other than reading it. Yes, so we put a book in our shelf, we put lal kapda on that, we do agarbatti on the book, we put book on our head. We don't do all these things with any other book, yes, other than Bhagavad Gita, yes. But only thing which we don't do with Bhagavad Gita is that the reading the book. And the purpose of this seminar, this 9th session, is to basically invoke the interest around reading the Bhagavad Gita and do the deep dives of Bhagavad Gita and give you some glimpse of certain aspects of Bhagavad Gita, the hidden gem or the information, the knowledge what it has and how it can transform our whole life. So today's topic, which is basically related to the most critical or most apparently most important aspect of our life, what we relate to our success and how we define the success and what does it mean as per our scriptures, what the success is. So that this one phenomenon of success which we'll try to understand today. So we usually try, like you have seen in the last class, Shiva Duber explained very beautifully the different aspects of happiness. And the attempt was that that we interact and so it's just not that I speak and somebody listens, but also we also try to understand that how much message we are able to convey and whatever we are conveying is actually flowing through or not. Okay, so try to be participative, try to ask certain things. If you don't find something logical, challenge it. Fine. Yeah. So we will try to understand that how we define the success, and usually we understand that success is always a point after a struggle, correct? So when we talk about a success, it is understood that there will be some sort of struggle, some sort of uncertainties, some sort of disturbances which we'll go through, and then ultimately we end up in achieving something, and we term that state as some sort of success, correct? So what is the meaning of this success? How do you define that success? Because the definition of success is very different for every individual. Yeah, so we will try to understand that. So we all might have our own ideas, our own definitions of tagging something as a success. But what is Krishna's opinion? What is God's opinion? What is His definition of success? Yes, that also we need to understand, and then how we implement that part is that formula into our life, and then really we can make the right definition of the success. So this is the objective. Although 35 minutes is too less to actually rightly absorb it and understand it, but at least we will try to understand it with some practical examples and see that how much we can understand, and at the end we can take up some questions and answers. Okay, so let's start a bit. We take a couple of steps back and see that we see a lot of disturbances around us. Yes, and if you look at the individual's life, or if you look at the society in general, the disturbances are common. You can see it everywhere. It is happening. Some troubles are happening in our own lives. Some troubles are happening in people's lives. Some troubles are happening as a nation. Some troubles are happening as a world. Yes, global warming, so much hot. Bangalore is becoming like just like Rajasthan. So some sort of so different level of troubles are happening. Yes, and I think more or less we all agree that some sort of troubles are going to be there, correct? So you look at your close surrounding, or including your own life, you will find there are phases. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down. Sometimes we are struggle. Sometimes we feel that we are okay and all. So in this entire plus and minus state, where this success as a word fit into. This is what we are trying to understand. Yes. So so when we talk about a successful man or woman, any successful individual, few things we ask. Yes. So when somebody say, I don't have any problem. Yeah. So I ask that, are you sure? Whatever level of success you define. So moment somebody tells me, I don't have any problem, and I just ask him once, okay, are you sure about it? And then usually people rethink. No, there is some, but they are not major. Okay? But there are some. Then people say things are going good. Yes. So we used to say that when in the hospital, when we go and when somebody has have come through a major cardiac arrest or something, ICU, or shifted to the ward, and then go and ask him, "Kaise ho aap?" "Achha hu." Yes. Even the patient in the hospital also tell him, "Achha hu." Isn't it? Yes. Because it's our natural tendency to shift ourselves toward the "Achha hu" position. That okay, I'm okay. I'm doing better than what I was. Yes, something. There's this move. But one who is healthy, he understands कि नहीं अच्छा नहीं है अभी, you need to come out of the hospital, yes, still. So, but still, he understands it means that he's better than what it was, yes. He's maybe out of danger, he's improving. Yes, his understanding of I'm better, I'm good, means that he's not worse, he's just becoming better. So, for the job, those who do job or who do businesses and all. So people say I'm doing a good job right now, and then we ask, really, are you sure about it? That you are really doing a good job? You never think about changing. You just stay here, just want to retire here only. Oh no. Yes. Yes. So again there is some ifs and buts are attached there as well. So I got a really good house, and then we ask, really, is enough what you have? Oh no, it's not enough. It's only 2 BHK, but someday 4 to 5. But abhi to acha hai. Right now it is going well. Yes, so again there is a again ifs and buts. I got a good bank balance, and then again you ask, really? No. I mean it's okay. It's okay for now. It's okay. Again, yes, yeah. So there is always a factor, yes. So there is a need. Yes? There's a need. So somehow or other, we have been, unfortunately, we have been taught the definition of success from a capitalistic countries. Correct? So the business success, so-called, is been implanted in our brains in a very systematic manner, since the childhood, yes, since the college, since the job, business, yes. So we just consider that success is the success. Yes. So that if you are a very strong, having a very strong educational background, and you are able to execute certain things very perfectly, you are able to, catch the moment very strongly at a particular situation, and if you are able to drive certain people or manipulate certain people very efficiently, we somehow or other understand that this is success. Correct? If you look at deeply this part, so our definition of success is very shallow, extremely shallow, because we think that we our capability to manipulate something, someone, somebody, some state, we equalify that as the definition of success. Yes. So can you give me an example of our, say, Vedic time? Any example that there is somebody who was really expert in all of these things? So taking a good birth in a very aristocratic family, being politically always right, very diplomatic, very powerful, very knowledgeable, too much of strength, and still he failed. Anybody can guess? Sorry. Who? Duryodhana. Yes. So yes, isn't it? See what most of the people are chasing. Yes, what most of the people are chasing. 100% of that Duryodhana was having by birth. Correct? Best of the education, best of the family. He got birth in a family which is one of the best family in the entire world. Yes. So he has best of the best, yes. And still he failed. Correct? He still failed. And in today's world also you see lot of people, although at times they attain so-called X, Y, Z, Z, and then they collapse sometimes, yes. It happens. In today's world also it happens. Yes. But Duryodhana is a classic example. Yes. So Duryodhana collapsed in spite of having everything. Correct? So what was that gap? Yes, people will say, "Aap ISKCON wale ho na, you will bring Bhagavad Gita and Krishna in between." Yes. Yes. So you want to ultimately put your point to Bhagavad Gita and Sri Krishna and Arjuna because that is your job. Yes. Okay, but okay, let's take a pause. Okay. So let's hear one story. Okay, I just plug one story here. Very different story, but this story will challenge your brains. Okay, I heard this story some 15 years back. Okay, when we were small kids, yes, so we used to hear a story, yes, at home. एक राजा था, yes, and Raja had a daughter, yes, and Raja was too much attached to his daughter. Rajkumari was too, was too attached to his father, and they were having very big Rajkumar. You know that the story. Yes, so similar kind of we have a story. So there was a king, and he had a daughter, and on the daughter's birthday, what Raja did, he gifted her daughter the most precious and most beautiful necklace as a birthday gift. And the daughter was in love with it. She was in love with it. So she always used to wear it. And this was a very, she got a very special attachment to this necklace. So one day what happened? That this Rajkumari, she went to where? With her friends, she went to some jungle, some place, and they decided to take a bath in some pond. And after some time, what she saw when they came back after taking a bath. Long story, but I'm just shrinking it in the interest of time, so that the necklace is gone. So there was a chaos. So she started crying. So Rajkumari started crying. Then king became angry, and then he said, "Okay, we need to figure it out." So he announced in the old time, they used to announce this in the village, in the city, that everyone should search, and one who will be searching it he will get a prize. Yes, then it got viral. Yes, they posted on Instagram that this is happening. Yes, so it went viral, and everybody was like this. Yes, we need some other way to figure it out. Yeah. So one person, he was just roaming in some jungle, and he also heard, yeah, this like this Raja has announced and all. He said, I don't have a chance anyways. But just like this every Diwali we have this this lottery, 25 crore lottery. We hear, it's not for me, something like that. So he went so he was just going through one pond, and he saw that something is shining. He just looked at it more deeper, and he saw deep there there's a necklace. He got excited. Wow, I got it. This is here. So, but there was a problem. The problem was it was a very old pond, very very old pond, and at the border of this pond there was very poisonous plants were there, and it was very very infectious plants. So the moment this guy tried to enter into the pond, these plants were so poisonous that he died there and there. So after a few hours, somebody else came, and he saw that somebody lying near the pond. So he came and he thought he will help him. But by the time he reached there, he saw that there is a necklace. So he forgot him. इसको छोड़ो अभी. The more important thing is there. Yes. So he tried. He also got the same problem and he also died. So after a couple of hours, the family members of these two guys, they were searching them कि कहाँ है गए आए नहीं अभी तक. They came and they started searching them and finally they reached there and they saw okay these guys are just lying there. So they tried to wake them up, but they realized that they died. Before they started crying, they saw there is a necklace. They say, oh, they died for good cause. So let us try and fulfill their last desire. So they tried and they died. And then it became viral. Everyone knew that where is the necklace. So, and lot of people from the villages they came and they started dying. So hundreds of people died. And then ultimately it reached to the Raja. Then what information Raja got? What information Raja got? Necklace मिल गया है. Yes, we got the necklace. So Raja went there. And he was trying, he said, okay, this is my country, nobody will die. This is my daughter, my necklace, my family matter. So I will go and take this necklace. So he tried, he was about to jump, and who came? Narad Muni. And Narad Muni stopped him. Wait. So he said that, have you seen things properly? Well, yes, it's invisible, it's there. Yes. Well, okay. But have you saw up in the sky nearby? So then Raja started looking it up, and he saw that there was a big tree, and on the top of the tree, this necklace was there. Its reflection was there in the water. So Raja said, okay, it's a big mistake. Nobody looked at where it was. So and then there is a story goes on, and Narad instructed something to Raja. So, but in the interest of our today's topic, we'll stop here. So, what is your learning from this story? Anybody?
See the things properly before them.
Sorry,
See the things properly before them.
things are
See the things properly before them.
true. What else?
For taking the
Common sense. Yes, common sense is required. Yes, it's very rare. Yes. They are searching something which is not there. True. That's equal to yes.
before taking action, try to analyze the situation.
Sorry.
Before taking the actions, try to analyze the situation.
Very nice. Before taking action, very good job. No, you need to think. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Don't follow others.
Don't follow others blindly. This is so important. Yes. Yes. Looking for the at the wrong place. Who was that? Yeah. So this was the lesson from the last class. Yes. Yes. What else? So okay. Because all are the valid points. Okay. And this is what how we pursue things. Right? At the face value, this house. Yes. Now look at things that this story has multi-level problems. Correct? What is the first problem? What is the fundamental problem in this whole chaos? Yes. What was the core reason of this chaos? Attachment. Yes. What's your name? Rahul. Yes. Rahul nailed it. Yes. Raja tha wo, correct? He could create 20 other such necklaces there.
Material happiness.
Material happiness. Okay. Yes. Second biggest problem, I want to do things in this way only. मेरे को यही चाहिए. That was another problem. Correct? Yes? And then there were many other valid points which many people have shared. Yes? So, yes. So we all need to understand that sometimes we see things differently, we define things very differently, but in the depth of it, the reality is very different. And this the same thing happens with the way we define our success. Correct? So doctor is successful when many people are suffering, correct? Isn't it? Yes? Somebody's toothache is somebody's happiness.
Somebody's heart attack is
Yes? Somebody's crashing, somebody's going up. It's very relative, yes? So material context, in material context, the happiness is relative. The success is relative. Yeah? People pray. One of my friend is running a hospital in Rajasthan. So he was telling, यार just fourth wave आ जाएगा तो हमारा थोड़ा सा पीछे में और निकल जाएगा. So this is how people pursue. Yeah, there are different perceptions. So how you define success then? That's the question. Anybody, some of you, ऐसा नहीं है कि you are sitting in temple, so you have to tell me I define success as that. No, there's no need to do that. But how you define success? Please, Ram, please.
I think success is more or less like with respect to something. Because if I am an engineer, everyone else is also engineer. They are also same thing. So I am kind of not successful because everyone else is also doing the same thing. And
So you are saying that you define success with the concept of relatively how you are doing better than others, correct? So you are defining success from the relativity point of view, correct? That valid listening. Anybody else? What's the name? Sorry? Yes, sir.
So, what happens is we set a particular goal, and if we are able to achieve it, then it is a success. If we are not able to do it, then it's a failure.
So goal perspective, correct? So you define that this I want to do, and if I'm able to do it, I'm successful. If I'm not, then
Sometimes it happens. We compare with some other people. No, he is that person. He is this.
comparative success, correct? So they are different. Anybody? This is also they are different perspective. You see, this is very different, correct? You see, have you seen our grandparents? That age, yes, the grandparents, great grandparents. Most of the people, they might not be very rich, but they are much more successful and happier than us. Correct? They were not putting their brain all the time into these, yes, Twitter and yes, all this. And they were very peaceful, yes. Isn't it? Yeah. And have you ever thought that way of being successful? हमको बोर लगता है यार, this is boring. The boring success है, yes. We find successful people should be in controversy. Because we have been taught like this, yes. So you should be unhappy to become happy. What a strange, yes, education system, yes. We literally teach our kids this. You stay 12 years, you should be unhappy, then only you become happy. This is systematically we are teaching our kids also. Right? So there are different perspectives of success. But so then when there is a confusion, then what you do? So okay, I tell you my perspective that most of the people how they perceive success. This is my analysis, which I have noted over the years. So let it be a family man, a family job man, or a businessman, a family man, maybe a Mataji woman or a college boy. So how we actually define success in my view. So imagine a person is just walking. He started walking. And while walking, he realized that there is just behind him, he landed in a place where at the back there is a tiger, and he has to run. So he start running because he don't have choice. He has to run because पीछे tiger है. Yes, and he is running on a hot summer where he is having perspiration and yes. So, but this tiger is dedicated. He is just he success is you. Yes, or that person. Yes. So then somehow or other this person escaped from the main road and tried to enter into a gully or another road. This road is full of different trees, and this tree is having thorns. Okay, so when he runs, these thorns are piercing his body. It's very painful. So पीछे lion रोक नहीं सकता है, tiger है पीछे, and from side से he is having now punches. So he started bleeding and all, and by that time his chappals also goes away. And then he landed in a place which is full of salt. So now body is having multiple wounds, and then he landed in the salt. But he can't stop because there is a tiger. So likewise he try and ultimately slips. And he slips in a well. A well. Okay? And his well is very deep. So what he does, that he tried to grab something, yes? So while he's trying to grab something, there is a tree. कई बार आप देखा कुएं के अंदर there is a पेड़, correct? So he hit his leg on a tree, and that tree is having what? Madhumakhi ka chatta. Yes. So somehow or other he hold one branch of the tree, and he is just holding himself. And now these madhumakkis are biting, but now he can't leave because he will go down. Okay, so he is wounded. He is in bad shape. But what happens? That because he hit that madhumakhi ka chatta, so it has honey. And the location is such that where he is placed and where the chatta is, there's a track. Correct? So, and he is suffering like consistently, like what all will fall, yes. So this drop comes and falls on his lips, and he tastes that. He forgets everything. And what he thinks? Agla drop kab aayega? Yes? When will be the next drop? Yes? And this we pursue, most of us. We are not in a very different situation. Most of us, we pursue success like this. So we consistently struggle every single day. And that trigger, which is a death basically, we know that is behind us. We can't stop. So we run, we struggle, there are issues, there are arguments, counter arguments, loans, EMIs and whatnot, yes? We have a lot of things, yes? And then that one day we get salary. Yes? And we think of now next kab aayega. Isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't how this isn't how to define the, and then we don't want to tell it. Yes? So we want to tell it differently. So then we bring the theory of relativity, doing better than others, correct? And lot of we cover it from a different angles. But at the core of it, the fundamental remains the same. Okay? So let's understand. So we just have 5 more minutes to go. So let's understand what Krishna says about success. Okay? So there is a word in our scriptures, everywhere you must have heard. It's called Kam. In English, it is called lust. Okay? So in general, lust is defined from the Western understanding. Yes, from Western understanding, lust is defined just like a erotic relationship between a man and woman, and they usually name that as a lust. Yes, but from a calm as a word, yes, it is not that lust. So the meaning of calm in literal meaning is our tendency to enjoy independently from the Lord. So when we do anything without Krishna or without God, we want to do anything for our own personal sense gratification. That is called calm. Okay? And until and unless you don't have a success on this part, whatever you do, in whatever capacity you do, the suffering is guaranteed. If you don't train yourself to be successful in this manner. So, we will recite a shloka. This shloka is part of Bhagavad Gita, shloka number 3.42. Shanmugh Prabhu is here. So, Shanmugh Prabhu has taken a vow that he will remember all the shlokas of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so I request Shanmugh Prabhu if you can help us in reciting this. It is 3.42.
इन्द्रियाणि परन्याहुर् इन्द्रियेभ्यः परं मनः मनसस्तु परा बुद्धिः यो बुद्धे परतस्तु सः हरे कृष्ण.
Thank you. And Prabhu, if you can read this next one as well.
हरे कृष्ण. एवं बुद्धि परं बुद्धा संस्तभ्यात्मनात्मनां च हि शत्रुं महाबाहो कामरूपं दुरासदम्.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so we just read the translation of these two shlokas. I mean, in today's class, if you can remember a fraction of this part, we will consider that we could contribute something. The very important two shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, which gives the internal anatomy of each one of us so scientifically and so clearly. The working senses are superior to dull matter. Mind is higher than the senses. Intelligence is still higher than the mind. And he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. I will explain it in a few minutes. Again, thus, it's the very next shloka. Thus, knowing oneself to be transcendental to the material senses, mind, and intelligence, O mighty Arjuna, one should steady the mind by deliberate spiritual intelligence, and thus, by spiritual strength, conquer this unsatiable enemy known as lust. So, in these two shlokas, Krishna very clearly specifies that what does it really mean to be successful. So what does it mean? Yes, so I just tried to sketch this, what we just discussed. Yes. So Krishna is explaining that we have a pyramid system in our body internally. Yes. So Krishna is saying that this is dull matter. Yes. Whatever you see, it is dull. It is dead. Yes. And above this dull matter, there are senses. You know our senses, correct? So, smell, touch, no? Vision, hear. So, there are senses. Above the senses, there is mind. Above the mind, there is intelligence. And above the intelligence, there is Atma, soul, we ourselves. Correct? We don't reach. Yes, we don't reach to ourselves. So you can imagine in our body there are two groups. All of us talk to ourselves, correct? At times, isn't it? ये करूं या नहीं करूं, isn't it? हाँ? भगवत गीता क्लास जाऊं या आज छोड़ देता हूं, isn't it? So diabetic patients, yes, मिठाई खाऊं या नहीं खाऊं, isn't it? Yes. Job पे आज जाऊं या नहीं जाऊं, isn't it? These all things comes. This duality is in our inside. Have you ever thought of that? Why I am talking to myself? This sounds not normal, correct? So have you ever thought what are these two things? The Bhagavad Gita experience, yes. So we have two groups within our body. So your senses and your mind is one group. Yes. So your mind will tell you what is good for you. Your mind will tell you what is good and what is bad. And what is the difference between mind and intelligence? Anybody?
It depends what you do.
And mind? What is that? Is okay. Anybody else? Kiss. Yeah. Yes. Take decision. Okay. ये तो मूवी में होता है. Yeah. I know from where you're coming. Yeah, some to an extent is right. Yeah. Yes.
Mind is something that takes inputs from the environment and without. Intelligence is.
You are engineer. You are an engineer. Yes. You are an engineer. Engineer, correct? Yes. Input output is coming from. Okay. So. Sorry. Yeah. So there's somebody from the online. Yes.
Yeah, can I add this, Nitin? So mind is something, in my opinion.
Somebody in the online has suggested that intelligence is experience and mind is thought. Okay. So take an example. So say somebody got a diabetes. So a diabetic patient want to eat sweet. Yes. And somebody is telling him no. So who is telling him to eat and who is telling him no? Mind is telling eat, and intelligence is telling no. So what is the difference between mind and intelligence? So mind is telling you what is right and wrong for senses, because they are friends with senses. Mind is not your friend. Trust me on this. If you will listen to mind, okay, if you listen to your mind, you won't come here. If you are intelligent, you will come here every Saturday. Yes. So mind will tell you what is good and bad for senses. Intelligence will tell you what is good and bad for you. You means as a soul. Correct? Then the question is that why we fail in front of mind? Because our intelligence is not strong enough. So mind you see, we are equipped with senses. Correct? Everywhere you see, yes? Good to see, good to eat, good to watch. Yes? So entire economy is busy engaging your senses. Yes? Which empowers your mind. And you take decisions not on your intelligence, but on your mind. Yes? So a student, he knows he needs to study. Correct? But he is busy in YouTube. Because that is senses. See, it is so scientific, correct? It is Bhagavad Gita. It is not something I am saying. It is Bhagavad Gita, correct? And then they fail. Yes, you as a businessman or as a job, you know you need to do job properly. You do gossiping in the pantries, correct? Or you as a businessman need to focus on whatever XYZ. You are doing something else. You fail. because your intelligence is not sharper. Correct? So in the material context also we fail. What to talk about a spiritual context? And alone you can't strengthen your intelligence. You will wrongly be training your intelligence. You will train your intelligence to support your mind. You will even fail more, just like Duryodhana. He started, correct? Why he failed? Because he trained his intelligence to support his mind to do more sense gratification. So he failed completely. That is also a trap. So mind is so smart that he fools sometimes intelligence that you also support me. And people call us. So you see these things, oscillations, yes, confusions. Kya karu, kya nahi karu. Yes, you see, it all happens with us, correct? Yes, wrong calls. We take a wrong decision. Oh, we have taken a wrong decision. We tell us, correct? Sometimes, yes. Then this or that. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. Correct? Atheism. You see why people are atheist? Because they know, because mind know, if they become theist, they will need to read Bhagavad Gita. Mind will become weak. Correct? But if intelligence is rightly engaged to follow these two shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, that is the only thing which you can define as a prayer. What we call prayer, yes, is that my intelligence should be engaged in such a way, should be engaged that I can serve and I can overcome my internal environment. I can suppress my mind and overcome this my tendency to enjoy separately from spirituality. If you don't do this, trust me, it is me and Sri Gaurav last 22 years. We are in an industry, we talk to so many people. It is impossible. You meet me after 5 years, you meet me after 10 years, you meet me after 20 years from now. If you don't practice spirituality, you doomed to fail at the end of your life. And this we can tell you after meeting hundreds and hundreds of people. So your material definition of success is doable. But at the end of the day, you still will feel like a failure, like a Duryodhana. If you don't train your intelligence perfectly. And how to do that? Yes, what Krishna's opinion around it. So I will request Mataji to please, if you can help us in reciting this shloka. Yes, thank you. So the Mataji is Shanmukh Prabhu's wife, and husband and wife, they learn and recite Bhagavad Gita shloks and they remember it. So yeah. So it's a 9.22 from Bhagavad Gita. Yeah.
Ananya Chintayanto Mam Vijana Paryupasate Kesha Vidyabhiyutanam Yogakshemam Mahamyam.
So this Yogakshema Mahamyam is not LIC. Okay, it is borrowed from Bhagavad Gita. Yes. So what Krishna says, but those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. And what more you need, yes? Yeah, it is so explicitly, yes. So people tell us, क्या ISKCON वाले हर समय you talk about Bhagavad Gita, so we ask then about whom we should talk. Yes, we should talk about, if not this, I should either hear you or I should hear Krishna. So I have choice. And so Krishna, how clearly he is explaining, yes, he is promising, it's Krishna's promise, yes, that if you rightly nurture your intelligence and engage your intelligence in understanding me, you will conquer your lust and then I will protect whatever you have. and I will provide what you need. Simple, everything is given there. Okay. So, and you see that a lot of examples, yes, in the history, you see a lot of examples. Kurukshetra was one example. Krishna's relationship with Sudama was another example. Saving Draupadi from the trouble was another example. There are Govardhan Leela. There are a lot of, like, we can talk for hours around it. Yes, there are a lot of examples. So, and this confused state, yes, you see that even Arjuna was confused. So he was materially so qualified, but still he was confused, depressed. Not only confused, depressed, and he was very logical. Yes, me ye nahi kar sakta. This I cannot do. That I cannot do. My parents are there. My teachers are there, and he has a very logical thought there. But still, yes. And then when Krishna has given him the right knowledge, that all these misconception goes. So the idea is that the person like Arjuna, he can enter into a misconception. Yes, though he got depressed. Why? Because of, again, the attachments. Yes, and then Krishna clarified it. Yes, and then he has spoken the entire Bhagavad Gita for the benefit of everybody. Although Arjuna was a pure devotee, and this whole thing was primarily acted to give us the right knowledge, so that we get the right knowledge to improve our spiritual life. So I think we are running short of time. So we'll quickly go to the shlokas. Okay, so these are the few shlokas of Bhagavad Gita which explains what kind of state in which Arjuna was. Yes, so Shanmukh Prabhu, you will read 1.28.
Hare Krishna. Dusvimam svajanam Krishna Yuyuksam samupastitam Sidanti mamagatrani Akancha parisoshyati.
So Arjuna says, my dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Then, around enjoyment.
Nachasreyo nupasyami Atva svajanamahave Nakanchi vidayam Krishna Nacharatyam sukhani cha.
I do not see how any good can come from killing my own kinsmen in this battle, nor can I, my dear Krishna, desire any subsequent victory, kingdom, or happiness. So he is saying, I'm good. Yes, I don't want to do this. So he was putting a logic. Correct? So sometimes we also put logic, correct? Yes, we tell people come to Bhagavad Gita class, I have a meeting. We have logic. Yes, I have this XYZ reasons why I don't want to do this. Yes, so Arjuna also had his own logics. Yes, then Sinful Reactions 1.36.
Hare Krishna. Papamevasraye dasman Advaitanatitayinah Tasman narhavayam mantam Atharashram sabandhavan Swajanam vikadam hatva Sukhinah shyama madhava.
Sin will overcome us if we slay such aggressors. Therefore, it is not proper for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our friends. What should we gain, O Krishna, husband of the goddess of fortune? And how could we be happy by killing our own kinsmen? So again, he is giving so many logics. Yes, then we see that in our life also we give sometimes so many logics that why I should not be following spirituality. Then why I should not be doing what Krishna is saying. Correct? And I think this is the last one. A destruction of family traditions.
Hare Krishna. Kulakshaye pranashyanti कुलधर्मा सनातनाः धर्मे नष्टे कुलम् कृत्स्नम् अधर्मोऽभिभवात्युता.
So he puts another logic. With the destruction of the dynasty, the eternal family tradition is vanquished, and thus the rest of the family becomes involved in religion. So many, he put all sort of, logics in front of Krishna, and then Krishna, when he started telling what in the very first verse, we'll discuss some other day. The very first verse, Krishna said that you are talking like a very intelligent man, but basically you are not very intelligent. That was very first sloka when Krishna started speaking. The Bhagavan was the first one. Krishna said that you talk like a very intelligent and learned man, but basically you are not. Now you listen what I am saying. Yes? Okay. So we reached to the end of the session. We are running 5-7 minutes late. So this discussion, yes, if I want to give you some take home suggestion, what I have learned over last many years, that in order to grow spiritually, you see, all who are sitting here on the evening of Saturday, they have a spiritual spark within them. Otherwise, they would not come on any Saturday all the way in the Bangalore traffic to a temple. Correct? If you ask somebody you're going to temple on Saturday, you laugh at it. Yes. So this is really great. There are few things, if you do every single day, somehow or other, in whatever capacity, it is guaranteed that you will grow in your spiritual life. Your intelligence become more and more sharpened, and ultimately you will be much more peaceful and much more heading towards the real success of life. So, what is that success formula? That is A. Yes, is A for association. If you don't associate with devotees, you won't be able to grow spiritually. Guaranteed. See, if you want to become a cricketer, you have to meet people who know cricket, correct? Yes, you can't go and meet corporate people and think that you will become Tendulkar, correct? You never become Tendulkar, correct? Yes. So association is the first fundamental of spiritual life. So like program like this, or there are some online programs are happening. So you need to associate with people who understand the science of spirituality. And they will see a lot of people, all of you must have got call, correct? Yes? This program, please come. Yes? The whole purpose of this entire exercise is to do what Krishna is saying. Yes? So association which will bring auspiciousness for you. Now the B, A for association, B for books. What book? B for Bhagavad Gita. If you read one line, it is available online, it is available here, it is available everywhere. Just it will take 2 minutes. Yes, maybe 3 minutes to read one shloka and its translation. Yes, but it will hold you. The C is chanting. What we do. Correct? So chant, Prabhupada said, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Yes? And the D is deities and diet. So eat prasad and have darshan. So this A, B, C and D, if you follow these four things, somehow or other every day, it will not take more than 15 minutes of yours. Yes? If you just chant one round, it will take say 7 minutes, 8 minutes. Correct? There are a lot of information available on YouTube around Prabhupada, lot of devotees. You just spend few minutes there. You just read one Bhagavad Gita shloka, and just one time in a day, if you do a proper darshan, or try to eat prasad, whatever you eat, yes, any patram, pushpam, phalam, any fruit, at least, whenever you eat, you just remember at least once to start with. Yes, and eat that as your offering. Yes, if you just do these 4 things, yes, we can guarantee you that in few months you will see that your life is getting transformed. We all have, like, across the globe, like we have 700, 800 temples, and millions of people have joined this movement, and they all follow these 4 things. So we request you to then try to do follow this ABCD, this is the ABCD of a spiritual life. So you miss one part and you'll be weak from one side. The 4 pillars. Okay. So and finally we come to the most important part, which is the mantra meditation. So what is written in Bhagavad Gita? Swami Prabhu, you will read this one? Or Mataji?
यत्र योगेश्वरः कृष्णो यत्र पार्थो धनुर्धरः तत्र श्रीविजयो भूतिः वानेति मतिर्मम.
Whenever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will also certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. This is my opinion. Whose opinion? Krishna's opinion. And this he spoke in the last of Bhagavad Gita. After explaining the entire Bhagavad Gita, is 18.78.
Sanjay said this.
Sorry?
Sanjay said this is good.
No, from Sanjay. Yeah. So that this is the opinion after going through the entire Bhagavad Gita. That if there is Krishna and if there is Arjuna, means if there is God and a devotee dedicated to each other, then the entire success will follow there. It is not opinion of any routine person. Correct? So I expect that we take benefit of such a rich knowledge what we have. By the time, so we'll do some mantra meditation for one round, what we do every class. Before that, by the time these beads are being distributed, if there are any quick questions around today's session, I'm happy to take that up. If I'm able to answer, I will try, and if I'm not, then I'll ask somebody else to answer this. Yeah. Any question? Yeah, Rahul. Can pass on the mic to Rahul?
So actually, I'm always confused. Suppose suffering is always bad, or sometimes it is also good. But because it is, if we don't have little suffering, so how we can enjoy it and how we can grow and how we can get the motivation to do something extra, go beyond our capability. So that's like whenever I'm doing something, so like sometimes I'm very peaceful. So at that time I think like, okay, this is right now feeling very good, and at that time I don't have that motivation to go beyond my capability. But sometimes if I will like if I'm suffering like okay, tomorrow I have to do and somehow to do within myself I will develop some kind of intelligence and go within a quick span of time.
See, there are different ways to understand this part. From a spiritual context, when we take some austerities for our own spiritual advancement, it is always good. Yeah, in material context also, sometimes we try to do something like students are studying, correct? They don't want to study, but they study because they know that the end result is better. right? And this is called as austerity for the student. And similarly for professional, the way you are explaining is, and similarly for a spirituality, spiritualists, yes, he want to achieve something higher, and in order to achieve something higher, he voluntarily accepts some austerities. Yes, so it is always good. So accepting something consciously to achieve something higher is always a good thing to do. Because if you don't do this, things will go worse. Because the world works like this. Yeah? So, like for example, this is a table. So if you leave this table without touching it for say for 15 days, what will happen? It will become dirty. Correct? A lot of dirt will come on this table and all. So what you need to do, every day you need to clean it. Then only it will remain clean. Correct? So similarly our consciousness. So if we keep on meeting the right sort of people, connected to spiritual people, they will keep on cleaning our consciousness, and then we will stay live and enlightened. If we don't do that, then what will happen? Just like this table, our consciousness, our character will also go down. So consciously putting effort to do something better is always good. So yeah. Yes, it will be too late otherwise. So on Wednesdays, we do one Q&A session for 1 hour, 7 to 8. So this week also we had, and a lot of people have joined.
You have heard it, right? We will be conducting an online Q&A session. You can come up with your questions. It will be an online on Zoom. We'll send the link. So now all of you have got beats. Right? So like last time, what we are going to do is mantra meditation. We will be chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and as we have gone through the verses, right? What is the importance of it? And is there anyone who has come here for the first time? Right, so there are few people. So what we will just explain how you have to. There are 108 beats, right? There are 108 beats, and there's one head beat which is 109th beat. Okay, so in this beat you don't chant the mantra, right? What we do is we just chant a Panchatattva mantra, which we will show you, and then we start the Hare Krishna mantra from the first beat. Your beats are all of same size, right? Because these are not Tulsi beats, and you are just starting to chant. Some of you are chanting for the first time, others are the second time. So you have to chant, and you don't touch this finger. This is known as a pointing finger, so we don't touch it. We hold the bead with the thumb and then the third finger like this. We don't touch the second finger. Okay? And you chant the entire mantra on one beat, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then you come on to the next beat. Again you chant the whole mantra, and then finally we come on the last beat. Right? Now today we are all chanting one round. Right? In case you take home beats, you want to chant, we don't cross over the head beat. We again then turn, and this becomes the last beat becomes the first beat for the next round. Okay? So now we will start. So Hare Krishna. And we are also posting a quiz for all of you. Right? So we will request you, that helps to revise. And the main purpose, it's not for seeing your scores or anything. It's just it helps you to revise that entire section. We are also sending some of the. From tomorrow, we'll post the slides also. That will help you. You can go through the slides. We are already posting the summary, right, of what we have gone through. So this is our next session. Tips to overcome suffering is our next session, right? So if you go next, this is what.
So we will all together chant this mantra. You can announce with me.
राजश्री सोल से सारे अपडेट्स पाने के लिए बेल आइकन
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद. And now we will chant all together this entire one round. Okay. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, 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 Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Ram, Ram. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta. Hare Krishna. So now we will have a very short 5-minute program by our kids. So while we were discussing here, kids were upstairs and they were preparing something for us. So we'll just wait for kids to come. So how easy it is to concentrate for 8 minutes? It's tough, yes? Isn't it? लगता है कब खत्म होगा? Yeah, because we have gone through this phase. So in ISKCON we chant 16 rounds every day. It will almost take 2 hours, around 1 hour 50 minutes. So the kids are here. We'll clap for all the kids. The mic.
Evam param praptam imam vajasyevam sakale namata yogo nashta pavantapa. The chapter number 4, verse 2. This shloka means that this supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciple succession, and the same kings understood in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it appears to be lost.
Very nice. Very nice. Next.
We all can sing together. परंपरा प्राप्तम् इमं कालेश्वरयोगिनि साकारेण महता भोगो नष्टा परन्तपा.
Very nice. So we have so many families attached with this center, and a lot of kids they learn regularly Bhagavad Gita, and it is so important for all of us to encourage kids, and it's encouragement for us as well. Okay, so thank you so much, Mataji, for that nice. And the services from Mataji's continues for cooking our prasadam. So we wholeheartedly thank to all of our volunteers. Yeah, so we will just now after the aarti we will be going ahead with the prasad distribution. Anyone of you who want to join hands with us in the distribution, please come forward and meet Sri God Prabhu, myself or Mataji, and we will distribute the service. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for coming. Look forward to meet you. Yeah, so you can just change the angle. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Everybody. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So now we all will be offering flowers to the deity. So all the Prabhuji, they should be on the left side and all the Mataji ladies should be on the left side. So I request all the ladies to take to the left side and Mataji can come to the right side. And you can make a queue and then you can take the achman, water in the hand, wash your hands and then offer the flowers. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, So, have first distribution to the fourth floor, the one floor up from here. So, yeah, the distribution volunteers. So, everybody can proceed to the fourth floor, which has been distributed on the fourth floor. Hare Krishna.
Can you just inform them? Yeah, we can just inform we are closing it.
We are ending today's session. For the online participants, for the offline launch, we always want to join us here. Next time, physically, or